I would never waste your time during the competition season with this type of stuff because it's like you should focus on training and doing the things that are truly hard. But basically, when you want to take a vacation from hard sort of elite speed climbing, come to Yosemite at some point, and I would happily take you up a wall because this is climbing gold. So you're now the world champion speed climber or world record holder, however you want to phrase it. But are you saying that you started speed climbing as a COVID project? Because most people learned how to bake and like learned how to, plant a garden and things like that. I'm like, are you now the world record holder and something that you got into during COVID?
Yeah, I mean, people have their hobbies. I mean, I had been doing it a bit before, like, because I had been climbing for so long before. But yeah, basically, as a COVID project, yeah, some people bake sourdough, some people learn to knit. I became a world record holder for sure.
Man, it makes me feel like I should have been more productive during COVID. Like, oh, I should have trained a little harder. That's cool. So, have you competed? I mean, you've competed in all the disciplines through the youth categories.
Hmm.
And and so how do you gravitate towards speed versus lead or bouldering or did you just have a natural proclivity for speed? Did you feel like you were just better at that and then focus more effort on it? Or, I mean, you must be a good boulder, a good lead climber as well. Like how did you choose what to focus on?
So I always make the joke that lead climbing is my favorite discipline because I love speed climbing. I love the process for training of it, but I love lead climbing so much. And I love the process of being on a wall and being scared, pumped, and tired, like just a lot. But I didn't necessarily gravitate towards the competition aspect of lead climbing as much. I think I only did one lead comp before COVID, and then I had already pretty much gone to speed, and I wanted to focus on my training there. And then bouldering, I still enjoy outdoor boulder climbing, but again, competition, like I'm not nearly as good as people that train to climb boulders in 4 minutes. So I just, as far as the competitive goes, I just gravitated towards speed, but I still will go on mostly in the gym and do my projects and all that when I speed climb. And so I have a warm up project at the gym and I will get on that on both boulder and lead, just kind of fun. And I have other ambitions as far as like outdoors and doing other events like the Deepwater Solo Seco Block and potentially the Red Bull Dual Ascent, where it's like lead speed climbing. So I definitely plan to get more into it post Olympics.
That's a good idea because that's a place where a speed climber could really excel. All the dueling comps and things where the routes aren't that hard. It's probably like low 513 and you just have to go really fast and not botch it. So
Yeah.
like, oh, that's smart. That's a good
My
idea.
absolute favorite style is climbing, where it's like a lead route where you can just climb fast and not get pumped. And then you have to like do hard moves at the top and like reset and do those moves. That's probably one of my favorite things to do in climbing.
Hmm. Interesting. Are you curious about applying your talent and speed to bigger walls at some point?
Absolutely. I think like the thing is with, and I mean, you're such a massive person in the field. So if I'm wrong, let me know. I would love for any constructive criticism. But I think like I have a very fast limb frequency. So I can move my hands faster than most climbers. And I don't know if that would help or not when you're climbing a route and you're being super tired doing multi-pitch. So like if I do decide to do it and I do get invited, because I think that's still a process, that if I do decide to do the Red Bull Dual Ascent, which is I think 300 meters, or maybe it's
That's the
100
one on the
meters.
dam. Is that the
That's
dam
what, yeah,
thing?
the dam in Switzerland, where
Oh yeah, you should do that. You would crush.
it's 6B to start, and then it gets hard to like 8A, and that's about like the hardest lead climbing I could do. Not like the hardest moves I could do, but um what I would do to train for that is I talked about, like I would joking with my coach, like I've been doing 6 years of a power cycle and now for time for like a 2 month endurance cycle. So I would just go to the gym and do a bunch of pitches and then try to do hard moves on a spray wall really tired and see if that would work out. Cause like I think I could climb a
I,
6B
I
faster than anyone else for sure.
I don't even know if you need to do the hard moves at the end. I kind of think for you, for a lot, like if you were trying to set the no speed record, you could literally just go and spend 2 hours on the wall and call it good. Like you wouldn't have to do a
You really
single
think
hard
so?
move. Yeah, because your level of power is already way beyond what. I mean, for the Red Bull duel on the dam, it's like, yeah, you still need to be able to climb 8A or 8A plus or something.
Mm-hmm.
But for most speed records, for most big wall speed records outdoors, you don't have to free climb that hard because you pull on gear and you just cheat and you do whatever you need to do. So realistically, you're never climbing harder than mid 511 maybe, if that. And that's only, you could make it easier if you wanted to place gear, but it's just faster not to a lot of the time. So you kind of
It's
climb
just
at like a
faster
like a
not
6C
to.
level. Well, it's like, like you could place a number two, but instead you just put your hand in and pull on it
Yeah.
and you're just pumped. But so you get pumped to like a mid 511 level. But,
Hmm.
for you, that's so far below your max that,
Yeah.
you'd be like, this is chill. It would be interesting to see though, because
Yeah. You're never
obviously
too pumped for
climbing,
jugs, and it's just moving
w
fast on jugs.
yeah, but a lot of it winds up being like your general engine, like your cardio is like, it's more like, can you run uphill slowly for 2 hours? Because at a certain point, you're like, it's not even climbing, you're just like, oh, I'm just swimming up easy cracks.
Just swimming up
I would,
easy
I would, I
cracks.
would love to see you try that stuff because
I would I
it'd be
would
interesting.
so be interested in doing not just that, but like other real rock stuff and other just like challenges of like the human limit you could apply to speed climbing. Like doing events like those, it seemed just like so fun. And to see what like you could actually do. I think the idea of I remember I think I watched your real rock you did about the record and setting it down, and I was like, I think one time you just yelled, "No gear, no fall." I'm like, I don't know
No,
if I
that's a
could.
joke. That's a Dean Potter quote. That's from Dean and Stanley doing the nose when he's at the top of the wall and he screams, "No gear, no falls." And then now we only joke about that facetiously because there's always gear, and that's not the way. But yeah, it is a funny joke.
Yeah, so I wonder if I could get behind the safety aspect. I don't know if I have the exact level that you do as far as training your brain to be able to do that, but I would really love to at some point in my life.
Though some of that stuff, and this sounds ridiculous, but it feels safer at high speed because you're done with the pitch in 1 minute or like 2 minutes or
You
whatever.
know, I
Because
agree.
some of that, like if you're soloing a pitch and you're hanging there for 8 or 10 minutes, that's a long time to look around and be like, I have no gear and this is scary. But if you're going as fast as you can and a minute and a half later you're done, you're like, I was never even that scared because I never even noticed. Like because like whole pitches
Yeah.
go by without you noticing, basically. It's totally crazy at the top of the nose
Yeah, I really
specifically.
I wonder what the like the physiological stress is around doing something at speed because you just don't notice and you're so like just in flow state that that's a very interesting perspective. Maybe I should give it a try. I mean, you're also kind of sandbagging how easy it would be because you're so experienced in doing dangerous climbs that I don't know. But I think we should go at some point if you want to take me.
Dude, yeah,
Uh,
honestly, when you aren't like, I would never waste your time during the competition season with this type of stuff because it's like you should focus on training and doing the things that are truly hard. But basically, when you want to take a vacation from hard sort of elite speed climbing, come to Yosemite at some point, and I would happily take you up a wall because yeah, I am curious how it would feel. I mean, and obviously there's a whole different skill involved in learning how to crack climb well enough that it'll feel like the jugs on the speed route.
yeah.
But with some practice, crack climbing will feel the same way, where you're just like, oh, it's just hand jams. It just feels like big jugs. It's easy. But the random so that real rock piece that you mentioned where we're doing the speed record on the nose, when Tommy and I were first working on that, I had a few experiences, and this comes back to the sort of physiological side of speed climbing, where I soloed a pitch. Basically, I did, I don't know, maybe 30 meters without any pro, just going as fast as I can, really pumped, get onto this ledge, and I'm standing on the ledge and I'm pulling up the whole rope to short fix so that Tommy can ascend the rope. And so I'm basically like bent over the ledge, pulling rope as fast as I can. And the thing about pulling rope is that you're basically only limited by how hard you're willing to pull. It's like if you want the
Mhm.
rope to come up faster, you can just pull faster. It's like doing a workout in a gym or something. But when you're completely pumped and you're totally winded and like kind of gassed, basically, I just remember having this memory of leaning over this ledge, pulling rope, and my last piece of gear was more than 100 feet below me, probably. And I was like, could I pass out and just go head first off this ledge? Because I was so winded and so pumped. I was like, I'm just not used to feeling that level of fatigue. And I was kind of like, what happens if I just take a swan dive head first off this ledge because I just faint or something? And I was like,
What
oh my God.
happens?
But then after a few goes, you start to realize that your body can handle that level of fatigue and
Oh yeah.
and that it's fine. And that's the aspect that I think would be interesting seeing somebody like you coming from the truly elite speed world is that you're already so used to revving your engine so close to the limit that things like that you'll be like, oh, this is fine. Like this is normal. Like I'm used to pushing that hard. Like
Mhm.
I generally try not to push that hard because it feels a little bit too on the edge. You're like, oh God, I'm gonna hurt myself. But
Well, that's a completely valid thing to say. I'm not going to hurt myself.